airport stayed as the bottleneck, the only possible way out, or in the city. In the first 6 or 7 months of the siege, which started in April 1992. So in these, conditions, people were running through the airport, and I think around 300 people died, by sniper fire and artillery strikes from Serbian side. It was also forbidden by United Nations soldiers to do that, with the agreement with the Serbs, and there is even a funny situation. We call that art of survival here during the war. Like, if you were running to the city and you were enlightened with the vehicles of United Nations, they will arrest you and bring you to starting position of your run, And people will try to fool them, to trick them by running in opposite direction after they were spotted, If you were running to the city, you were enlightened, you will know that you will be arrested. You will try to run in this direction, so they will drive you to the city. Just across the airport, it's a neighborhood called Dobrinja, maybe 1.5–2 kilometers from here. It was famous as the Olympic village, used during the Olympic Games, Winter Olympic Games in 1984. And my grandfather and grandmother, they lived there. And we were in total blockade, from I think May 1992 till October 1992. And we were separated just in this maybe 3–4 kilometers of air distance. My little sister, she was born in 26th of May 1992, the same day when Sarajevo birth clinic was bombed, the same day, and I think few babies were also killed in that bombing. My mother gave a birth in the living room, without electricity, in the dark, without water, in 8 months of pregnancy, without any medical assistance. And she didn't even cry first few hours. She was born at around 3:30 a.m. and she was left there just at the edge of the couch, and she started crying after I think 2 hours. They didn't even bath her, without water, and she's now okay. She's now 26, having her own family. So this is my personal experience. I know my father ran few times also through the airport, and my uncle, and also they were United Nations soldiers. I know that they were tolerating, carrying, the wounded people, through the airport. They were tolerant toward that when they see you were bringing people through the airport. And I know few important anti-artillery missiles systems were brought like that, through the airport, to fool them, to trick them, through the airport. And after tunnel was opened, it was in the spring 1993. After that, I will pass through the tunnel few times, and still I have that picture in my head. I mentioned now that from that period, from the war, I can remember only gray days in the winter. I can't remember sun, and I remember, going through the tunnel, slipping through the water. It was constantly flooded, with some small red boots, on my feet, and my mother was carrying my little sister behind me, and my father and uncle were also there, going to the other neighborhood to visit my grandfather and grandmother. Also, one thing about I will make a point about your imaginary fears and real fears, like phobias. Most of the people are uncomfortable to go in narrow spaces as a tunnel, But during the war, tunnel was constantly flooded. You can imagine you are going deep in the tunnel. The deepest section was 5.5 meters below the airport runway, and water level is rising even to your chests. And it was just 1.6 meter high. And you have 30–40 centimeters space of fresh air to breathe, But in those conditions, you have to forget about your imaginary fears like claustrophobia, because you have to, focus on your survival if you are carrying supplies for your family also inside.